What's going on, guys? It's James Graham with the Project Esports podcast, presented by the Game House. Coming at you with some day one coverage and recap of the League of Legends free open market, I guess. Day one of free agency. We saw some really crazy stuff on November 20th. This video is being recorded on the 21st, just kind of the day after sort of thing, the aftermath, if you would. Basically giving you a rundown of what's the major plays from day one. Um, the first major thing was we saw the EU LCS be rebranded as the LEC, introducing, of course, their the new brands or the new franchises that have been brought in, all that good stuff. We've covered this in previous episodes of the podcast. I think there's been some slight tweaks and changes, but I mean, for the most part, everybody's there. Everybody is accounted for. So we're gonna kind of dive right into that as well. Like not only the franchising, but the players that are going to be associating with those franchises and some of the staff, which is kind of exciting. So to kind of start us off, we're gonna go over to Korea. Korea, we saw tons of free agents flying all over the place. Everybody. SKT released a lot of their roster. Freaks released a lot of their rosters. Gen Air, Green Wings released a lot of their roster. Gen G released a lot of the roster. So, I'm going to focus a lot on Gen G on this recap, mainly because they were so dominant previously, and kind of what kind of the breakdown was with them. That being said, though, we're going to start with the boy. Oh, there we go. We're going to get used to this. We're going to start with the boy, Faker. Faker decided to re-sign with SKT. A lot of talk about what was going to happen to our boy Faker, given how the last season went, or last split went, last two splits, sorry. Basically because the metas hasn't really suited Faker, hasn't really suited his team. It is widely suggested that he hasn't really had a good team around him. So for him to re-sign and all that good stuff, there is rumors that he'll see Khan with him. You'd see a lot of like powerhouse players. Initially, Mugen was speculated to end up there, but now we're talking like Teddy, Peanut, maybe Crazy. A lot of these very aggressive players from Korea. So it'll be interesting to see what actually comes out of this and what happens. I mean, Peanut's been slotted to go like 15 different places, so I don't know which one to believe there. But the big takeaway from this is not only there we go, not only Faker, but as well as Effort, and Leo, I believe, is the other one, who have all been signed back onto SKT. So that's a pretty big deal there. It's good to see. I personally, I'm a huge fan of franchise players. I love seeing that Faker has really never left, and he doesn't seem to have any intention to, which is awesome. So I'm stoked to see him staying there. Next, we move on to Daddy Jungler himself, Ambition. For anybody who isn't familiar with Ambition, Ambition is the protagonist in Rise, the music video that was put out by Riot. He was also one of the two jungler duo for Gen G. He's announced free agency. He's one of the few ones we're going to kind of cover, as I said before, mainly because this guy's the next world champion. He's with this same roster, so it's weird to see this kind of shift happen, where basically the entire team disintegrates. Apparently, Ambition has no intention of retire. He's looking for other teams. Where he's going, though, has yet to been really announced. And then we go on to his duo partner, Haru. Haru's in the same boat. Haru played the majority of the most recent season with Ambition kind of taking a backseat. He also played a good portion of Worlds as well. There's still no word on what's going to happen with Ambition. Or not with Ambition, or Haru. There we go. The next gentleman we're going to move on to is Crown. Crown, the mid laner, well known for his Varus mid. Unfortunately, it looks like Crown's actually slated to retire. That's the big thing in the rumor mill with Crown. Which, I mean, like, the guy's got a world championship. Like, I mean, I'm a firm believer of you get the mantle if you don't want to go 3 times over like some other characters have. Dude, totally understandable. That's totally fine. Go for it. It's all you. So if Crown retires, it happens. But I feel like this guy still has at least a season left in him if he wants to. The next gentleman we have going making some big moves is the previous NA resident, went to Korea, came back, and is now rejoining team, or not rejoining, he's rejoining the NALCS. Core JJ. Core JJ, if anybody remembers from way back in the day, back in when Dignitas was still a thing, Core JJ was a marksman player. He went over Korea, role swapped to support, won himself a world championship, and Steve decided to make him his support. There's no word on what's going on with Ole yet. Ole is still on contract to my knowledge. There hasn't been Team Liquid staying pretty quiet about what they want to do with the rest of the players, besides the fact they acquired this gentleman and as well as this gentleman. So yeah, C9 Jensen is now TL Jensen, or TL Jensen with a money sign as the S, because this guy got bought out for bank. Like there's no way that Cloud9 would have let this guy go. He was a huge reason why they managed to pull this crazy season around from like 10th place to like semifinals of Worlds. Jensen's a big deal. Jensen being bought up by Team Liquid is a big deal. Team Liquid has slotted themselves to really solidify that super team spot they really want to do. So as of right now, the tentative roster for Team Liquid, and we're looking at Impact, Xmithy, Jensen, Doublelift, Core JJ. This means, of course, with him on the roster, with Jensen, Pole Belter has been moved to free agency. What Pole Belter's going to do, nobody really knows for sure. Pole Belter's getting up there. I don't know. I think I still think there'd be a huge team that you could kind of play around him. Some people are in talks of like Immortals basically being reformed if they really wanted to, given all the there's a lot of players that have been moved around and stuff like that. But this is pretty crazy. This is pretty ridiculous. North America is kind of going to turn on its head. It'll be really interesting to see how the rest of the offseason kind of plays out. Because again, like I said, this is only day one, and this nonsense is going to be just the start. This is the tip of the iceberg. So moving over to the EULCS, now known as the LEC, we have Mr. Alfari. Alfari, along with 3 other members who I'm going to list off here in a second, are going to Origin, aka hashtag when does Origin play. So Alfari, previous of Misfits, Nuke Duck, previous of Shogo, and Sheriff, previous of H2K, have all been already acquired by the Origin roster. This is weird. Because to me, Sheriff wasn't the standout player for H2K. H2K, of course, did not make franchising, so they collapsed. Everybody, I think pretty much everybody looking at the list right now, pretty much went to free agency. So they just, so Origin decided to pick up Sheriff. He's a young player, so I mean maybe that's why they're doing it. Alfari is an absolute monster in the top lane, and Nuke Duck, we've kind of seen the whole year of Nuke Duck's slang kind of go out. He's definitely a solid mid laner. This is a good forming roster. The final piece of this puzzle that was announced all on day one is, of course, this fine gentleman. Deficio has been listed as staff with Origin. Whether or not he's going to be an on-stage coach or a strategic coach is going to be yet to be seen. It's really interesting to see what he's doing with the organization. But yeah, previously or a little earlier, Deficio announced that he was a freelance caster, so he was not actually bound by Riot anymore, much like now Shox is. So Deficio has moved back into kind of his roots. Deficio, of course, being a previous pro player with Ninjas and Pajamas. This will be great. I'm excited to see this. I'm excited to see what this guy can do. This guy's a genius. Like, he's incredibly smart when it comes to the game. So this is awesome. I'm really excited. Moving on. Speaking of Misfits with Alfari, somebody's coming home. That gentleman is Febivin. Febivin has been slotted for an allegedly 3-year contract with Misfits. Febby had a pretty standout year when he was with Fnatic, a couple standout years with Fnatic. He looked real slick. Went over to Clutch Gaming. It almost looked like he got complacent, like he realized, it's franchising. I'm not going anywhere. There's no risk of me going anywhere. And it seemed like he really lost his edge. So maybe with him returning to the homeland, maybe we'll see the old Febby, the scary Febby that would basically you put him on an assassin, he would take you out no problem. He looked like another Caps back in the day. I understand that's a bit of a broad statement. People are probably going to roast me for that, but when Febby was in his heyday, I thought he was a pretty killer player. We'll be interested to see kind of what happens with him as well. The other speculation, and the only reason I'm including this speculation is because it's kind of on point, is the Baguette King himself. It's in the rumor mill that Soaz is supposed to be going to Misfits. Whether or not this is confirmed or not, I'm not too sure. Um, we'll kind of see how that kind of goes. I'm not buying into it too much. So as like many other players, seems like a bit of a franchise player. My initial thought is he might go back to Origin and play with or like play under Expecame because the two of them are boys. But they've already drafted an Alfari, so I doubt he's going to go there. Maybe Misfits, maybe some of the other teams, maybe like Rogue or something like that. Who knows? On the topic of Fnatic though, there is talks and rumors that Caps is going to go to G2, bumping Perks to ADC. That I don't know how much legitimacy there is to that. Jarnan himself commented on the post with straight up what. So I don't know if that'll happen or not. I'll be interested to see that. That's gonna be some crazy stuff if they bump Perks to an AD. His Lucian's pretty crazy, but I mean that's really about it. So it'll be pretty interesting to see. Moving over to the LMS. As a lot of people know, the Flash Wolves dynasty is pretty much no more. We kind of see the degradation of play over the last couple of years. That being said, though, a big standout player for them was Mugen. There was a lot of speculation where Mugen was going to go, much like Peanut over in Korea. They didn't know what team he was going to be picked up by, who he was going to be slotted for. That being said, he finally landed on, I'm going to butcher the name, Hanoi Life Esports. They're definitely not a bad team. I think he's got a good home there. It'll be interesting to see what he does. I'm assuming this is probably the most prestigious spot he could acquire, but it seems like a lot of people wanted this guy, or the rumor mill is just cranking out stuff. So we'll see. And then finally, before we kind of wrap up, and I just kind of give a bit of a rundown about the other free agents and what could happen, what might happen, all that good stuff. The last kind of a bit of a tragic story is coming out of Surenfire. Surenfire, of course, was a part of the Direwolves. He was a huge part of kind of their effect at Worlds. He, of course, got hit with a 2-game ban due to toxicity. It seems like he's kind of addressed this and he's addressed what's going on with himself. He tweeted yesterday on the 20th, basically that he would be stepping away from All Stars. That he spoke with the Oceania crew and basically said, I need to fix some stuff. I need to address my mental health, so I'm going to be withdrawing from All Stars. Surenfire, I've been a big fan of. I've been a big fan of his play. I haven't been a big fan of the personality. So if he sorts himself out and he stops being so damn toxic, that'd be great. I personally kind of credit this guy for killing Oceania's chances of making it into groups or play-ins. So we'll kind of see what happens with him. I don't really know. Well, I'm gonna kind of stay tuned on that. I realize now I'm a big fanboy of Oceania, so you will see. I'm gonna kind of create these crank these videos out concurrently, just kind of keep everybody up to date with what's going on. I'm going to keep Oceania in the mix. So you'll probably hear where Triple goes if he goes anywheres. But yeah, so kind of in closing, we're going to move on to like the other free agents. Now, most like as many know, Unicorns Love didn't make it. So Unicorns Love, all their players have gone to like free agency. All of H2K's players have gone to free agency. All of Rocat's players have gone to free agency. That means guys like Memento, Amazing, Profit. Like, I mean, there's a lot of good players in there. So we'll be kind of interesting to see what's going on. There's also been talks of Froggen going places, Mickey going places. I don't want to bog down this video too much with just rumors and stuff like this because this is going to change on a dime. This is going to change tomorrow. I do want to key in though on with North America that also like Meteos is free agent. Demonte, who is I'd say basically a B plus mid laner at best, is also a free agent. There's no one else really crazy floating around North America that I think is going to go anywhere. The other big point though that I want to touch on for free agency is Kingzone Dragon X. Prey, Gorilla, and Peanut, as I mentioned previously, are all free agents. These guys are like the holy trinity of like absolute nonsense. They of course were part of the Rocks Tigers, who were one of the scariest teams out there in their heyday. That being said, it seems like some of them may have lost their edge, Prey and Gorilla specifically. Where they go might, I don't know, maybe we'll see a reformed for Rocks Tigers. Who knows? But hopefully they get in a good spot because these guys are all the three of them are phenomenal players. Whether they split them up or not, who knows? The other big one is the KT Rolster squad. Deft, UCal, Rush, and Pawn, all free agents, which is pretty crazy. These guys, again, KT Rolster was allegedly the super team this year. They were expected to, they were the heavy favorites going into Worlds alongside RNG. So we'll be seeing kind of what happens with them. I expect them to get picked up really quick too. A lot of these players I'm mentioning, they're not going to sit free agent long. Off season just started, free agency just started. These guys are going to get picked up in a freaking heartbeat. And then finally, I'm just going to close it with China. Sorry. Um, there's been a lot of talks about basically what's going to happen to RNG's team. There's been a few things. There's been a bit of a rumor mill with Uzi, whether or not he's going to retire or not. Ming and Jiahu, who knows really know what's going on with them. Unfortunately, it's kind of hard to find like source material on the Chinese and Korean player base, just because a lot of it is Google translated, and it's really hard. I'm not fluent in Korean or China or Mandarin, so I mean it's kind of brutal for me. So I'm just kind of taking everything in word of mouth and Google translating. So, but yeah, no, we're gonna see some fun stuff over the next couple of days. I can't over the next couple, probably like the next 2 months. I can't wait. I'm really excited. With that, guys, this is the first iteration of, we'll call it the League of Legends Power Hour, because that's what Andrew's dubbed it every time we do it on the show. The show itself, of course, is going to be, I think, pretty much the light version of this. I don't mainly because there is so much going on with League of Legends, and this is my main affinity to basically esports. I'm probably going to be doing these videos and trying to focus on this a little more. Advice taking away from other talking points that have been going on, because there is a ton of other stuff that's going on. There's crazy stuff with Rainbow Six, with CS:GO, with Overwatch. Like, I mean, I don't want to kind of take away from that light with all of this. So I want to make this an independent video series to kind of like detailing what's going on with the scene. With that, guys, I'll catch you tomorrow.